Hey everybody, I am back. I had to take a little time off. My best bestie, my best friend ever. Some tragic stuff happened and I had to be there for my girl. Anyway, I'm back with another grief video. Um, I want to talk about re-grieving. Yes, re-grieving. So, it can happen, re-grieving. Like you may think that sorry about that. I'm sitting outside and it's this truck that just drove by. But re-grieving. So you could think that you are moving right along and everything is fine. You had maybe some weeks and weeks and weeks and you didn't feel sad. You didn't think about that person as much as you used to, and you feel like you just life is just okay. I'm getting through this. And then all of a sudden there can be a trigger. So y'all know this is my second year. This is year 2 for me, year 2. And just as I thought I was getting better and doing well, that stuff happened with my bestie, and it just started the grief all over again. And I mean, it was like I was grieving. Like, it was like I lost my husband all over again. So started to get down, started to get depressed against, well, I didn't even say I was depressed, but just down. There's a difference between depression and down. But I started to get down again and staying in the bed again, feeling sad again, thinking about things again. So how do you deal with something like that? First of all, you got to know that that is a real reality, that it could be one trigger that sets you off right back down that path of grieving again. One trigger. It could be one trigger, and that trigger could be a big old trigger. But how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? First, I just want you to know that it is a possibility. So if it happens, just don't feel like you're crazy, like you out of place, like this shouldn't be happening. I'm letting you know, there's somebody walking before you, ahead of you, that it can happen. It will happen. But how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? And the grief can feel just as bad as when that person that you love first passed away. How do you deal with it? That is the question. I'm going to tell you how you deal with it. You fight it. See, now it's a difference when you first get into your grief and you haven't even gotten to a stage yet where you had some good days for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you feel like life is moving on and you starting to do things and you starting to get out with your friends and stuff again, and it's a difference. But when you have gotten to that point where you feel like you almost at the end of the tunnel, you know how they say it's a light at the end of the tunnel? It's different. So when that does happen to you, if it does happen to you, you cannot let yourself sink. You have to fight it. You have to tell yourself, no girl, pull yourself back up. Now see, if this was your first time going through it, I would be like, let yourself sink a little bit, as long as you don't fall into depression. When you first going through it, it's rough. But when you gotten to that point where you almost at the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel, then that has to be a fight. No matter, yeah, people can tell you, sister girl, brother man, we're not going back down that road again. That's how you deal with that. You fight it. And you don't get offended when people try to pull you up out of it. Now, when you first going through it, people can't pull you up out of it. They can't pull you because you got to go through. You got to feel them hurts. You got to feel them pains. You got to get through it. But when you get to that point where you've reached almost the end of the tunnel, where you can see the light, you can't get offended when people say, no, that's not even cool. You can get up out of the bed. Get up. Come on, let's go. And you just have to accept that. I'm telling you, that's how you deal with the re-grieving. have to pull yourself up out of it. You can't get offended. You have to accept people's advice. That's how you deal with it. So, with that being said, that's all I'm going to say. That's my little advice for grief today. I went through it. I was starting to sink, but people around me was like, no. And you know, I couldn't look at them side eye like, you don't know what you're talking about, what I'm going through. You can't do that no more because, you know, you done got through it. You're almost through it. Can't go back. Can't go back. All right, y'all. It was nice talking to you. I'm going to be praying for you. You pray for me. We're going to get through this together. Bye. Love you. Mwah.